Hey, thank you so much for watching this DevTools course, I really appreciate it. This is the last lesson, and in this lesson we'll be taking a look at DevTools extensions. A DevTools extension works kind of similarly to a Chrome extension, but it has some different capabilities. For example, it can actually attach a panel to the DevTools. So just like how audits and console is a panel, you can actually make a DevTools extension with a name and functionality of your choosing. That's useful for more general DevTools extensions. You can also have more specific ones. For example, in the Elements panel, you can even attach your own pane right here, which in turn has access to the currently selected DOM node. So you can provide some extra functionality to the user there. Note, in this lesson we're not really going to cover the creation of DevTools extensions, but rather just using them and what's out there and what they're able to provide to us. On the DevTools documentation page, there's actually a DevTools extension gallery which lists a few creative DevTools extensions. Do check it out. We'll be picking a few from these and looking at them. To start out, let's have a look at PageSpeed Insights. So this is the dedicated extension page on the Chrome Web Store, and I'll hit this free button and accept the permissions. Cool, I get a little notification saying that it's been installed and I will start using it. So here I am on the Chrome Web Store homepage. I'll open up the DevTools, and as you can see we get this new panel called PageSpeed. I can click on this and this is kinda nice. As you can see, it's like a PageSpeed experience but right here in the DevTools. I'll hit Start Analyzing. And we get results very similar to that of the PageSpeed service. One thing that I really like is all the resources that it mentions, you can actually click on them and be provided to a link to preview them right there and then. I'll close that. One touch which is even nicer than that is if I click on Minify CSS. Okay, I get the usual link to the CSS file in question. It's telling us that we could have optimized it, and as you can see it can be. But I'm going to close that, and you can actually see we get the option to see optimized content, and it's given us a sort of customized Chrome extension specific URL. And I think that's really cool. So if I click there, I'm taken to a minified version of the content. So I didn't even have to make that optimization myself. I'll close that and we'll take a look at the jQuery debugger. So I'll go and install that. And it's worth checking these extensions and really making sure that you're comfortable with the permissions that they need. Even if the extension is open source, it can sometimes be tricky to find out how it uses your data. So you do want to be careful and only install extensions from authors that you trust. So I'll add this one. Okay, let's check out this jQuery debugger. I'm going to go to the Twitter homepage and open up the developer tools. And as you can see, I get this new panel called jQuery Selector Inspector. But I'm not too interested in this. I'm going to head on over to the Elements panel. What I'll do is I'll select one of these links at the bottom. And as you can see, this extension has used the capability of providing a custom pane. So here we have jQuery data. I'll select that. But there's nothing there. So let's set one. So we know that $0 is the currently selected element. If I wrap that in the jQuery object, I now have that DOM node but as a jQuery object. And we also know that $_ returns the last evaluated expression, so I can use that and even get autocomplete here. And I'll just set a property of hello with a value of world. Okay, I'll close that. Probably have to refresh that pane, and there you go. You can see these properties are now visible. So don't get me wrong, this isn't any shiny new functionality. You're able to get access to these without the extension. However, this extension has been made to cater for common use cases for people using jQuery. There's also this jQuery events pane, which lists the events that is registered on the DOM node. You have the ability to trigger it, you can even see a snippet of the code, and you get the selector which was used during event registration. What else have we got? There's this snappy snippet one which I really like. What it basically does is, given a selected DOM node, it will try and extract the styles that have been used for that DOM node and allow you to use elsewhere. Let me show you what I mean. So I've got the notification that it's been installed. I'll head on over to the Amazon page. Let's say I'm interested in this search box here. What happens if I want the CSS for it? Well, I can go to inspect element, I could find the parent element that I'm interested in, sort of edit that as HTML, copy all of this, copy the corresponding CSS and so on. But this is a very long and manual process. If I head on over to Snappy Snippet, I can actually select create a snippet from the inspected element, and it creates the HTML and the CSS ready for me to copy and paste into my editor. But in fact, even better than that, it gives me the ability to send that straight to JSBin or JSFiddle. So I'll do that. And as you can see, we've got the search box right here, and I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty accurate. Of course you'll find a bunch of functionality is missing, and it's not always completely accurate, but it's a pretty good attempt. There's also DevTools Redirect, which I didn't have much luck with, and I'm not sure if it's being actively maintained. The general idea is you can say, hey DevTools, intercept all the network resource requests, and when you see a request for this particular file, serve this specific response, and that specific response can be something totally different that's on your file system, for example. There's also Gulp DevTools, which is a really fun one, and if you use Grunt, there's also that available as well. Just have a look for Grunt DevTools. So I'll go to a simple page. So here I am on this page which I have hosted locally, but the page itself isn't significant. What is this new panel that I have called Gulp. I click there, and what's really nice is I have access to all the tasks that the Gulp file registered. Here's the CSS task, and I can click on it and actually trigger it and see the output right here. So that's really nice. I should note that I've also had to go to my terminal and run the Gulp DevTools tool which I installed over npm. But you could imagine how cool it would be, for example, to have a JS hint task. And you could, again just to give you an example, change your JavaScript within the sources panel, go back to Gulp and actually see the output. For example, did JS hint report back that everything was okay? So that's all for this Developer Tools course. I really appreciate you watching it means a lot. I hope you learned a few bits and pieces, and also how you can properly incorporate the DevTools into your web development workflow. Bye everyone.